Hi, hello! My name is Laura de Somar and I trained at Mount View Academy of Theatre Arts for 3 years. We did a lot of voice training, voice work. We studied everything from the anatomy. We had tests about it. We also warmed up every day, had extensive voice exercises and some singing classes as well, which I particularly wasn't such a fan of because I was terrified of singing before drama school. And then, funny enough, after drama school, I picked up like singing lessons, and now I can sing and sing musical theatre. So it really has been a 180 change or shift in my relationship with my voice as well. And that's why I'm super excited to be able to share some of the elements, tools, exercises that I've learned. Okay, so let's start with warming up our voices, our beautiful voices, because each one is unique, of course. And in the same way that you wouldn't run a race without warming up because you might tear a muscle, in the same way you would want to warm up your voice box and your voice, all the muscles that are part of producing voice in a relaxed way so that you don't harm your voice. Maybe you've had an experience of going to a concert and screaming and shouting, and then the next morning you can't speak. It probably is because you weren't using your voice instrument correctly, and you probably hadn't also warmed up. You probably there was a lot of wind as well, and you probably didn't cool down. Sometimes people don't do the cooling down period, which is fine. It's not as crucial as a warming up period. So and aside from like physically prepping you, I think that having that space before singing or performing or doing a presentation actually gives you a moment to really center yourself. Be present. Focus all your attention on your body in the moment, and that will help you be a better performer, a better public speaker as well, because people will sense how calm and centered you are. Therefore, you're more compelling to understand because there's a certain ease and confidence that comes with being present. And so these exercises are all things that I do before either a speaking event or performance or singing, although singing requires a bit more. And you can have your own, like, it's the beauty of it is that it's like kind of like Christmas mornings, that there's tons of different exercises that I would equate them to gifts, and then you can pick and choose the ones that work best for your body, because your body is a unique instrument. And that you can then sing in the shower, or you can also read poems to your family and friends. So it is important to have fun in the process as much as possible, and to give yourself, cut some slack, give yourself a break. That every time you learn a new skill, there is a moment when you're like, oh my gosh, I'm actually really good at this at the beginning, or you might be very like, what's going on? And then it'll come a period where you're like, this is way harder than I ever thought could possibly be. I'm surely not meant for this. I should do something else that's easier, or there's something better I should do. But if you really want to take care of your voice, especially because of your work or something you're inclined to do, then please continue the road. I assure you, I'm on the other side, and I was like, I even auditioned to a musical and I was like, please give me a part that does not sing. I ended up singing Glinda. I don't know how that happened, but let's go. So let's start with enough chatting. Let's start with loosening up. So another thing that you want to notice is that your whole body is connected. Okay, your whole body is connected. So you want to relax not just this little instrument, but also like all the muscles that go into helping you use your voice. So let me just show you that. Also, it is like your voice is coming from your belly, okay? From sort of like if you put your hand, if this is your belly button, you put your thumb in the belly button, and this is the area and your lower belly, that's where the strength is coming from. That's where the voice is coming. You can hear there's a difference, a voice coming from here, then a voice coming from the chest. But if I put it chest and the power from the bottom is different than if I'm just speaking from my chest and it's somewhat like contracted. Another exercise that is crucial, and we have to talk about it even before starting to warm up, is that when you're breathing, make sure you can see my shoulders. Some people, when they say take a deep breath, they're like, this is all contracted now. I'm doing the opposite of relaxing. I'm just tensing up more. So let's blow everything out. And when I say take a deep breath, what I mean is if you put your hand on your ribs and your intercostal muscles, then if you do take a deep breath, there we go. You want to push out your hands with your ribs. Okay, that is the correct way of breathing. You're welcome. Another breathing exercise is you breathe in for 4, hold for 7, breathe out for 8, and that really helps you cleanse your body as well. But okay, another thing that we can do now is more focalized. Now we're going to the next stage, which is, so these are all the muscles that are also connected with your voice. So what you want to do is put sort of the heel of your hand right here where your jaw muscle, your jawbone connects to the rest of your skull, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt, but it's gonna be good. So you're just gonna slide it down. And if it's not hurting, you're not doing it strong enough. But obviously don't kill yourself in the process. And do it a few times until you feel like, you will definitely feel like this is immediate. You will feel, you know, your whole, because there's so much tension that is like automatically stored in that area. It's crazy. So another thing you can do is hold your chin in between this finger and this one and gently so my jaw itself could be looser, but and as you can see, like, this is just between us. Like, there's nobody else in the house. I don't know if you're doing it in your car or in your house, in your apartment, in the garden, in the park, whatever. Like, who cares? This is just for yourself. And other actors or other performers would be like, I see what you're doing, but if you're doing it in your own place, that's fine. Or in the bathroom of your office, like, who cares? I don't know, maybe you care. So yes, and then another thing we can do is just do lip trills. Why am I going up and down in pitch? You say, like, is that silly? It might sound like silly, but everything has a purpose. So when I'm speaking to you, I'm using different pitches, like high and low, and I was going to talk about this later, but that's how you make a conversation engaging. Like, if you truly, but you're not just fabricating it, you can be aware of it and therefore use it to be more compelling and more effective in your delivery. But you normally do it, you naturally do it when you're talking about, unless you have unless your brain chemistry is slightly different, you might, your voice might sound different. But if you're, I guess, neurotypical, and even, sorry, I just know that someone that, anyway. So to cut the story short, let's test it yourself, test if this applies to you. And if it doesn't, let's move on. When you're excited about a subject, let's say golf, you're excited about golf. And then you start talking about it, and when I get there in the morning and the sun's shining and the fresh air, and so you naturally, your pitch changes, and that's more compelling than if you're saying, and when I get there in the morning, the fresh air is, and that's monotone. More often than not, we go into monotone out of fear, out of not wanting to be judged, or out of tension in a space that we fear to be judged. So let's you know, be aware of how you use your pitch throughout the day and something that excites you, and listen to other people, how they speak. And okay, you can do the wobble as well. Just shake your shoulders and allow your body to relax. And then you can also imagine that you're chewing a toffee. big toffee in your mouth and you chew it, it's slightly like sticky outside, so you will start feeling like there's like some heat building up in your sort of these muscles, your like cheek muscles. Okay, and one thing else that you can do doing this is like there's a lot of tension as well down here that we don't usually care about or talk about, so but yes. And then there's also some neck like relief, like if you put your hand like this on the back like this, and you sit on a chair, and with the other hand you place it to the back of your head and you lightly just pull downwards, and that's gonna stretch. So everything that we can do to relax, neutralize, like detension, like release tension in this whole area, especially like in your whole body, the better you'll feel and the better you'll perform and the more effective speaker that you can be. Trust me, it makes a difference. Like, try it out. One day go to a public speaking event and do the whole warm-up and prep yourself and deliver. Another day, don't do it, just rush into it. Something that does help is that feeling of nervousness that you might feel, that you might dread in some circumstances, actually it could also be adrenaline, which is good because it helps you like a degree of adrenaline is good. Obviously if it's over like disempowering in the sense that it overpowers all of your other like senses, then there's other things that we can do to manage that anxiety, and there's another set of exercises. But and as I mentioned before, I just wanted to touch upon once more that varying your pitch or volume might be a very interesting element to want to play with. If you're a dynamic speaker, that would be, for instance, if I'm suddenly saying something really crucial, I might want to change the way I speak, but maybe towards the end, when I want you to feel the importance of the subject we're talking about, then you see that just by changing pitch, I mean, I did change pitch obviously, but I also changed volume, and that can also be a tool in your arsenal. So I hope you enjoyed this small lesson. Pause it if you want next time when you're going through it, and try it out for yourself. Okay. Ahora para la versión en español, mi nombre es Laura de Somar y quería simplemente hacer unos cuantos ejercicios para que uno se pueda sentir cómodo a la hora y ser más efectivo a la hora de hacer public speaking, ¿no? O hablar en público. Entonces vamos a comenzar por calentar todos los músculos que están, digamos, cerca a lo que vendría a ser nuestro elemento de voz. Entonces vamos a poner la parte de acá abajo de nuestra palma de las manos y lo ponemos en el lugar donde nuestro hueso de la mandíbula se conecta al otro hueso de la cabeza y a la cabeza, digamos, y lo relajamos completamente. Lo hacemos varias veces porque esto es un proceso en el que es algo súper personal. Entonces, a través de hacer un calentamiento de voz, vamos a no solamente tener un proceso en un momento en el que vamos a poder concentrarnos y realmente ponernos presente y estar conscientes de lo que vamos a hacer, si vamos a presentar o dónde estamos parados, y tener ese grado de percepción de estar centrado nos ayuda a ser más efectivos en nuestra forma de hacer un performance o de hablar en público o dar una presentación. Entonces, otra cosa que uno puede hacer, por ejemplo, es variar el pitch. El pitch es el tono de voz. Por ejemplo, muchas veces cuando una persona lee un texto, digamos, solamente tengo un texto en inglés, pero tú lo vas a entender. Por ejemplo, si yo digo, how is it? ¿Cómo es? Schwab asked him. Schwab le preguntó. Ese tipo de que cada vez que termina una oración se caiga la voz hace que uno pierda el interés, porque siempre hay una energía debajo de nuestra voz, debajo de las cosas que estamos diciendo, y si nosotros dejamos la bolita de energía caer, va a ser difícil levantarla de nuevo. Se nos ha acabado el tiempo por ahora, pero si les gusta, por favor, mi nombre es Laura de Somar, a su servicio para tener una sana voz y una efectiva presentación. Hasta la próxima.